The Meanest Doll in the World by Anne Martin and Laura Goodwin. Chapter 8 Spies. Annabelle, feeling shaky but determined, took Tiffany's hand and led her back to the center of the hut where the PJ Party Pals and the Troll Twins were now standing in a small knot, talking quietly. "We've had a discussion, and we've decided to help you in your fight this weekend," she said firmly. "On Monday, we'll have to try to get back home, but until then, we want to help." "Thank you," said Penny. "That really is nice of you, but this isn't going to be easy, you know. In fact, it's dangerous. A few of us have gotten broken, so if you want to hide or something, you can. We won't mind." "We're used to this," added Waterfall, heaving a great sigh. Annabelle looked down at her china arms and legs, and her petticoat and lace and ruffles. If she got hurt in a fight and went home to Kate cracked or smashed, or with her clothing ripped or even missing, Kate might be suspicious, and Annabelle would go into doll state. Or would she? Annabelle thought about the doll code of honor. A living doll, she reminded herself, was bound to protect the secret life of dolls. But a living doll was also bound to work for the benefit of doll kind. And what could be more beneficial to doll kind than preventing a cruel princess from trying to take away the freedom that living dolls now enjoyed? Annabelle wasn't sure, and she wished very hard that she could talk to Mama or Papa about this. But she thought that perhaps it would be okay to risk herself and Kate's suspicions if, in the end, all doll kind would benefit. So now she said bravely to Yvonne, "No, we want to help you. What do we do first?" "Well, the walls here seem sturdy enough. I think this can be our hideout, at least for a while." "We don't want to get it smashed, though," said Melody. "We'll never be able to have it put back together before BJ comes home. So if Mimi is planning something really big, we'll have to abandon it." "The cutouts are going to go on a spy mission," spoke up Beth, "to see if they can figure out what Mimi is up to." Annabelle looked at the cutouts and nudged Tiffany. The cutouts were busy fastening on their spy outfits, paper hats and sunglasses. The hats were identical, yellow sombreros, except for the one worn by the doll at the end of the line. Her sombrero was red. While they were dressed, they took turns peering out a window as they glided by. "We'll be back," said the doll in the red hat as she opened the door. Annabelle guessed that she was the head cutout. "In no time," chorused the others. Annabelle and Tiffany watched as the cutout slipped across BJ's room to the wall nearest the door. They moved smoothly, following the orders of the doll in the red hat. "Up," she would call, as they climbed nimbly up a bookcase or a stack of toys, the rest of the cutouts behind her. "Down," she would cry, and the cutouts would change direction. "Around, careful, crack the whip." The cutouts circled BJ's room, peering into corners and under pieces of furniture. Eventually, they returned to the Lego hut. "No one's in here," reported the head cutout. "No one at all," said the others. "So we're off to Cowley's room." "Keep your wits about you," said Waterfall gravely. Our wits," sang the cutouts. And the next thing Annabelle knew, they had slithered under the closed door and disappeared into the hallway. 15 minutes later, they returned. They zipped into the hut in such a great rush. Annabelle thought they were quivering. "What did you see?" asked Penny. "Oh, it's horrible, it's awful, it's a crime and a disaster," cried the cutouts. What? said Tiffany. The news was distressing. Mean Mimi was, in fact, building a racetrack between Callie's room and BJ's. She had ordered Sleeping Billy to line up Callie's metal cars and trucks by the head of the track. "She'll probably make Technoman launch them," said Beth. Technoman, the cutouts reported, was checking his lasers and spinning his gadgets and looking important. "What about the Sandra doll?" asked Yvonne. "Just sitting on her blanket," replied the head cutout, "waiting for her orders." added the others. Melody sighed. It'll be an all-out attack, she said. I'm sure of it. Mean Mimi is angry. Angrier than usual, said Waterfall. Why? asked Annabelle. Because last night she stomped in here. Oh, BJ was right in his bed, exclaimed Penny, and demanded to know why we won't be her friends. And we told her, like we've told her about 1,000 times, said Beth, that she's not going to have any true friends until she stops being so mean and bossy and wanting to take over the world. And I said, added Melody, that the Sandra doll and the others only stick with her because they're afraid of her, not because they actually like her. She's just a big bully, and bullies don't have real friends, only underlings. She's a fit to be tied, sang the cutouts. What should we do? asked Tiffany. We have to prepare for the attack, said Yvonne. We know what to do, said Waterfall, sounding resigned. Unfortunately, we can't always prevent the damage, said Melody. Annabelle, who had been sitting on the floor next to Tiffany, stood up. What I want to know, she said boldly, is how Mean Mimi can get away with this. If BJ and his family come home after the weekend's away and find messes or broken dolls or smashed Lego buildings, then the doll code of honor has been broken, and someone should go into doll state. Mimi is putting all dolls at risk with her attacks. That's true, agreed Beth. The thing is, so far, no one has actually caught her in the act, but we think it's just a matter of time before something so big, so horrendous happens that, well, maybe all of us will go into doll state, or even permanent doll state, said Melody. Annabelle's hand flew to her mouth, and she gasped. She wanted to ask these new dolls if they really believed in PDS, but now wasn't the time. We don't know how to stop Mean Mimi, though, said Penny. At least, not yet. We talked to her, but she doesn't listen to us. And we can't overpower her while she controls Techno Man and Sleeping Billy and the Sandra doll. So all we can do is ward off her attacks. And we better be prepared. Come on, everybody, let's get to work. Beth, you're in charge of barricades. Waterfall, you're in charge of the traps. Cutouts, plan your next spy mission. Okay, replied Beth. Melody, you and Tiffany will work with me. That leaves Annabelle, Yvonne, and Penny to work with me, said Waterfall. Off we go, sang the cutouts, donning their hats and glasses once again, gliding toward BJ's door. And so the preparations began. Annabelle and her group set traps around the room. They placed small building blocks in a precarious stack just inside his door, so that Mean Mimi wouldn't be able to launch a sneak attack. They rigged books to fly off shelves if someone tripped a string they attached to the bottom of a chair leg. They arranged a blanket at the edge of BJ's bed that Penny could be thrown down on Sleeping Billy, instantly putting him to sleep. The dolls worked so quickly that Annabelle felt sure that they had set these traps many, many times before. Won't Mean Mimi know what to expect when she attacks? She asked. Yes, replied Waterfall. These things just make her job a little harder. The same thing with Beth's barricades. Annabelle eyed the pile of toys and pieces from BJ's erector set. They won't do much damage, except delay the worst of the damage. Sometimes Sleeping Billy and the Sandra doll get tired and they want to go back to Callie's room before the things are totally out of control. It's the most we can hope for. It was very late at night when the last of the barricades was in place and the last of the traps had been set. Annabelle, Tiffany, the Troll Twins, and the PJ Party Pals returned to the Lego hut. What did you see? Melody asked as the cutouts returned from another spy mission. 11 o'clock and all is well, sang the head cutout. All's well, chorused the others. Annabelle and Tiffany looked at each other and shrugged. I guess Mean Mimi is planning a surprise attack, said Tiffany. It won't be much of a surprise. Mean Mimi will knock over a trap as soon as she comes in the room, replied Annabel. The dolls huddled in the Lego hut and waited. They waited through the night. They waited through the next morning. If we wait much longer, BJ and his family will come home and see our traps and barricades. Maybe that's what Mean Mimi hopes will happen, Annabel whispered to her. She's just bluffing. She'll get us in trouble without even... A low buzz sounded from the hallway outside BJ's room. Annabel jumped. The buzz grew louder and louder. What is it? Cried Tiffany. Techno-Man! Shrieked Penny. The buzzing was drowned out then by the crash of the pile of building blocks as the door to BJ's room burst open. Annabel peeped through the window of the hut and saw the end of the racetrack poised in the doorway. A small metal ambulance came hurtling down the track, sailed through the air, and crashed against the hut. Annabel jerked back from the window, but not before she saw a giant foot stride into the room. The Sandra doll was back, and she was not alone. Honey, I'm home, called Mean Mimi.